Well, hi, Grier. Thank you for joining us. As I just mentioned to our audience, you're the Executive Director of Protect. It's an organization that Guidance is absolutely proud to partner with. Can you talk a little bit about the problem, the direct problem that Protect is trying to solve? And just for the audience's sake, one of the things that I noticed on your website that was absolutely alarming to me is it suggests that 2% of all potential cases, only 2% are being investigated due to a lack of resources.
We really changed our entire focus back in 2006. Congress held a series of hearings that year on child pornography and child exploitation. And we were asked to testify on what the states were doing with their laws. And I'll never forget sitting in the back of that hearing room, and the first panel was all law enforcement. And a cop from Wyoming gave testimony that I consider just like a nuclear bomb. And you know, it won't surprise anybody that went right over the heads of members of the congressional committee. But basically what he said was, look, you know, we are monitoring the trafficking of child pornography images online, and we're pooling all the results in a central database now. And we have not only located but mapped over 300,000 unique computers, not IP addresses, but computers in the U.S. alone, and millions worldwide. And you know, we sat there and said, you know, shaking our heads, saying the game has changed all of a sudden. Because if you think about it, for centuries, people who preyed on children sexually did it in the shadows. Nobody really knew who they were until the poor child came forward and disclosed, and then you pray that somebody would do something about it. But now, for the first time ever, we actually have the technology. Just like a Geiger counter would lead you to the radiation, you know, to help you find a nuclear terrorist. We now have technology like that that will lead you to people that prey on kids. And the marker is not radiation, but the marker is the presence of these digital images. And so the game is over. I mean, these people are hiding in plain sight by the hundreds of thousands. And the only thing stopping us is just sheer lack of resources.
So up to now, how have you been successful in solving the resource problem, or at least trying to bridge that gap?
Well, you know, we've worked federally and at the state level to get resources. You know, federally, a big part of our lives since 2007 has been fighting to increase and then ward off cuts to the ICAC task forces. We essentially got their funding doubled in about a 2 or 3 year period, and I'm ashamed to say it's been a rearguard action just to stop these idiots in Congress from cutting ever since. But you know, in the environment we live in, that's no small thing. What we've started to do at the state level is fight to get dedicated revenue for law enforcement to combat child exploitation. And the main way that we've done that is through what we call Alicia's Law. We've worked with Alicia in a number of states to get this funding for law enforcement. We've been successful in Virginia, California, Tennessee, Texas, and just recently Idaho. And the idea is real simple. You know, how many kids do you want to protect? How many kids do you want to leave in the hands of rapists? Because the truth is, you know, while what happened to Alicia was very rare, to be kidnapped by a total stranger, you know, she still does represent hundreds of thousands of children who are essentially prisoners in their own home. These are children who are being preyed upon, usually by the very adults who should be protecting them. And, you know, the child pornography trafficking is like smoke signals coming up from the house saying, hey, this is where the child needs help. And, you know, the results, we estimate in the tens of thousands of children that have been protected because of these laws. If you take the number of arrests, and then you figure somewhere between 30 to 50% of those possessors and distributors were hands-on offenders, and then you look at how many victims those offenders will have on average. We're talking about thousands and thousands of children who have been rescued from living hell because of these laws.
Wow, that really brings it to life, and congratulations on all that success so far. It looks as though now you have a brand new project, and there's new members of the Protect team, and they're called Hero Corps. Can you discuss how the new Hero Corps will work with Homeland Security to further bridge that gap that we talked about earlier?
Yeah, I think this is the most exciting thing that any of us have ever been part of. We've partnered with Homeland Security Investigations and the U.S. Special Operations Command down in Tampa and Oak Ridge National Lab. And Special Operations Command has helped us recruit some of the baddest warriors on the planet who've been very highly vetted and trained. And our government spent a fortune on these men and women. And they formed a kind of nucleus of the Hero Corps. We've also drawn other service members from every other branch. They reported for training with us at Oak Ridge National Lab in August. And our Weiss Center for Child Rescue Technology gave them an amazing month of training in all aspects of child trauma and abuse and the child protection system and the law enforcement landscape. And then they've now reported for training at Homeland Security Investigations Cybercrime Center outside Washington, where, thanks to guidance and a lot of good people, they are getting crash course in digital forensics. And they'll fan out in November to Homeland Security field offices around the country as child rescue operatives. HERO stands for Human Exploitation Rescue Operative, and their specialty will be to figure out who are the worst of the worst offenders and where the kids are who need to be rescued.
Yeah, I have to say, one of the things I did before we got on this call, Grier, was I went to your website and I went to protect.org /hero, and I looked at some of the videos of the folks that are the first class of Hero Corps, and I'll tell you, it's pretty inspiring. For all the other folks listening, how can they get involved and how can they contribute and support Protect and Hero?
Well, I appreciate you asking. I mean, please, I'd encourage everybody to go to protect.org and just learn more about us. At the very least, sign up for email updates. We don't do them all that often, not often enough, but that way you can find out what we're working on. And you can donate either to Protect our overall work, or if you want, just to the Hero Corps. And we make that pretty easy on the website.
I really want to thank you for being on the call. I hope everybody out there will go to protect.org, and if they have any questions, please call Guidance Software. We're happy to direct them straight to your organization, Grier. And once again, thank you.
I just want to thank you one more time, Robert, that because of Guidance, our heroes are reporting for duty with the weapons they need. I know every one of our guys would want me to thank you, and they'll show their gratitude by using the tools you've given them to rescue kids. And I don't know any better thanks you could ever pray for than that. So thanks for everything Guidance has done.